Hey there.
Hello.
Hello, Mike, and welcome to Redefined Talks. I'm so happy that you're here. And yes, let me introduce our guest today. So Mike Amoah is a music, business, and podcast
Producer.
And yeah, we're just going to have a very authentic talk, and we're talking about all things business, then also like networking, because he's very good at networking as well. So we're going to talk about that. And just, he's going to share his startup story, which is also going to be very interesting, and mastering skills, etc., etc. So welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So let's get into the interview questions. So your startup story, first things first. Maybe you can share your experience of starting a startup in your 20s and what motivated you to take that leap?
Okay, experience. Well, let's start with motivation because I think that's where it starts.
Yeah.
Well, it's different factors because you have personal reasons. There's always that factor of, in my case, it's family. You want to provide and create a better future.
Yeah.
Basically. I mean, that sounds cliche, but it is true.
It's a good
line. It is true. And so that's the biggest. And also, just trying to live a life where I can experience stuff which normally I wouldn't be able to. And also out of, let's say, I just want to show the world that like, hey, everything is possible. Just put your mind to it because I had a crazy path when it comes to school and so on. I mean, I graduated, be it high school, started university, and I'm like, I don't know, this because I was doing a mechanical engineering, and then at some point, I'm in class, and I'm just producing music on my laptop, and they're talking about electrical stuff and so on. So I'm like, maybe that's not for me, So yeah, that's where it started, and it's gradually, it went from music to podcasts and other stuff. So I would say, the motivation came from, like I said, family. I'll just put it like that, and also I like trying out new stuff.
Okay.
I'll put it that way. Yeah.
That is so cool. So it basically started with you being in uni, right? And doing this and realizing, okay, whilst I'm at uni, perhaps even started studying because your environment told you to do so. And you're in the midst of it and you're like, I'm not feeling it. I have my own passion. Let me just do my own thing whilst I'm at uni.
Well, when I started, it wasn't that I was forced to do it because I love physics. Like, when it comes to physics, I'm a little bit of like not like a nerd. I can calculate stuff. Like, I'm always interested in how the world works. For example, when it comes to music is sound. How does sound work? And then trying to put that into be it mixing your music, mastering your music. I love the physics behind it. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes to how uni works and how school works and you got to do homework, you got to do I'm like I mean it works for a lot of people, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like everyone has
its benefits for sure.
Exactly. But for me, I realized it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Because, for example, it works for all my friends. They can go to uni, they can do homework, and I'm not saying one is better than the other. It's just a different path. So that's it basically.
Totally. And I feel like that's the point. Like, it's actually finding out what is best for you. And there's also like a saying, especially if you're an entrepreneur, most of the time they assume that doing the normal stuff like studying, working is the bad choice and you should like pursue a business. But I feel like nope, it's very individual. Some are more destined to do their own thing and they're more disciplined to do so, and their why is also there, whilst others are like, I'm comfortable like being in this, I don't know, sounds negative, but in this system, because it is a system.
Okay.
And just dedicate their all as well into this. So, yeah.
It's not like you said, it's not a bad thing to go to uni to have work. And,
no.
It's great because everyone needs to have some kind of guidance.
Yeah.
No one comes to this world without like knowing everything, okay.
Yeah.
So if you're told go to school, then you go to uni, then you work. that's guidance, right?
That is guidance.
That leads you to also having, be it good income, you know, get into travel, get into whatever. For me, the uni part was just like, no. You know, because if it worked for me, I would have done it. And then, you know, continued. But it was it didn't make sense for me because I hate homework. Really, I do. So I don't say one is good, one is bad. I say everyone is different. You know, everyone has different upbringings. Everyone has different characters, and that all counts on what path you're going to take in the end.
Definitely. Yeah. So how did you actually start your agency?
Good question. So my friend, we used to be roommates. He is like, when it comes to business and people I know, he's the best mind I've ever seen. I mean, I would tell it to him in his face. He's like, he inspired me actually because, like I said, we live together, and he's always, you know, business oriented. He's like, okay, where's the next business and this and that. And I started joining him in projects, and that kind of opened my eyes to a whole different world, you know, because like I was just in like uni and stuff, you know, and also in music. I was doing a lot of music at that time. But he opened my eyes, and I'm very, very grateful to him. We don't have that much contact now, but I'm still very grateful to him because he kind of opened my eyes to, let me see a different world, in the world of, you know, networking, you know, meeting new people, be it sales and stuff like that. So that's how it kind of started. It started actually when I was doing music.
Okay.
Because it's, there you have to sell your voice. I sing. So you have to sell your voice. You have to tell the people, hey, my voice will be the best for, and I do music for advertisements, by the way, TV advertisements. So my voice will be good for your product. For example, you have to sell them why your voice will be good. So that's where it started. Cool. And then I think from that point, you're always trying to find new ways to find the next business opportunity or the next client or whatever. So that's how it started, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
No, that's cool. So definitely got the right environment there. Your roommates.
Friends are very important.
Yeah,
very,
definitely.
very important.
They shape you.
Sure,
Yeah. So did he actually like help you get into this whole process of starting a business, or was it like he started it and then you just networked yourself into things and found your niche? Like, how did that go?
It wasn't smooth. I mean, the way you're saying it kind of sounds smooth.
I feel like it's never smooth.
No, it wasn't smooth. What happened was he started his business, and he was asking me like, "Hey, Mike, you do music, right? Can you mix this song and compose the song or whatever?" And I kind of have a good eye for like, be it. You know, he was like, "Hey, does this picture look good for Instagram and whatever?" And I think I have a good eye for it.
Artistic eye, I see.
I try.
Do you also do photography, or?
I think I could actually, but I don't have time for it. But I think I could. Like, I'm not to blow my own horn, but I try.
Why not?
And so he like asked me, "Hey, Mike, well, how about this picture for Instagram?" I'm like, "Yeah." So, and we would go outside. He had a brand, and he used to sell. I don't know if I can say it, whatever. So I had to model for his brand sometimes.
Okay.
And then. So, I mean, when you're doing all this, you kind of start picking stuff up. And also, he was also learning. It's not like he knew everything, you know. So kind of getting his learning process
I see.
was also kind of, a good thing because it also shows you that, hey, it's not a straight line, you know. It has ups and downs.
It has,
So when you start your own shit, your own stuff, sorry.
Be yourself. It's okay.
When you start your own stuff, what happens is you also tend to make mistakes, of course, but you try to avoid mistakes other people make.
Oh yeah.
So when I started, of course, I made my mistakes, and but how did I get in my niche? For me, it was I mean, I was in music, and I already know how to manipulate audio, or
aka producing.
I'll put it that way. So podcast was the next thing which made sense because I really don't like working with rappers and singers and can you sell me a beat for 20 euros? No, I can't sell you a beat for 20 euros.
Oh, that's cheap.
No, people will ask you that. I'm like, so why should I work?
Why?
Yeah, why should I work on a beat for, let's say, 6 hours, 3 days, 1 week?
Yeah.
And then you DM me on Instagram, hey, can I have a beat for 20 euros? Like, you crazy?
No.
So
gotta respect the
yeah, so I was
process
like, I need to do something with my skills.
Yeah.
Which, of course, brings in more cash. And podcast made sense because Corona kind of gave it a hype. And yeah, from there, just did it.
So it was basically a combination out of your own skills, like out of your own passion, I mean, and then looking at the market, which was at that time, podcasting, and it's also like your field, like audio, you were like used to this, and that's why you combined those two.
Yeah, I'll put it like that. Pretty simple when you put it like that, but it was seeing, like you said, what I was able to do. It's not like I was born and I was able to produce audio. I still had to learn that skill.
Yeah.
And
got you.
I think for me, it was easier because I'm really interested in music and physics. Like I said, I love how sound works and how
the technical stuff behind
effect works and so on.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It's fun. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what were the key challenges when you started and just... Yeah.
Where do I start? Jesus Christ.
Well,
I still have challenges today. I'm still learning,
Yeah.
I think in every single aspect of what I'm doing, there are always challenges. So be it from, taxes. That's a challenge, for example. Also, trying to make your craft better, getting better at what you do.
Mastering a skill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say I've mastered my skill. I think there's always, you can always be better.
Yeah, that's true. Sure.
Exactly.
Sure.
And what else? Also, networking, for example. Huge. Huge.
Very huge.
And how to sell. Even more huge.
Yes.
More challenges. Let me see. I have a list, I'm telling you. Also, personality, my personality, how that affects what I do. Or how that, it's part of networking, but still. It's also a topic which I had to take seriously because I think I'm a very, I try to be a nice person all around.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you. And so what happens is when you get to business and be it sales calls and whatever, I don't want to sound like you have to be a different person, but you have to know when limits are. It's still you.
Yeah.
It's still, of course, when, let me put it this way. It's still you because it's you who is saying what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's just a different aspect of you. So I wouldn't call it playing a character. I would say it's just a different part of you. So for example, when I would have my first calls, it would be, hey, it's good, yeah, okay, hey, that's what we're gonna do today, and oh my god, that was great, and because that's my personality, And what happens is, also being so young, like I am, when you go into a call with, some older people, who make a little bit more money, getting them to take you serious at the beginning is very difficult. I'm not gonna lie, because. Man, they will come in and they'll look at it like, what is this bubbly guy doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's so cute. What is he doing?
Wait, did they even say you're cute?
No. That's what I'm thinking.
But that's that's you. That's in your head.
So, like I said, my personality, I had to learn to adjust. So it means, in my case, it would be tone it down. It could be different for everybody. For me, it was to tone it down a little bit. And it's a combination of different stuff. I can't say what exactly it is, but at some point you learn about yourself. You learn what you do that triggers other people to react in a certain way.
Yep.
And then adjust accordingly. So that's why I'm saying it's not that you're a different person. It's just that you adjust different aspects of how you behave, for example. You know what I'm saying? For example, if I'm at home and I'm eating chips, for example. I don't eat chips, but let's just say chips.
Yeah.
So, and I'm watching TV, I'm going and just going all at it. But if I'm outside of the restaurant, I'm eating chips. I'm not going to do that. It's not that I'm a different person. It's just, adjusting to the situation.
Adjusting, adapting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is not like advice for people or whatever. This is just me. This is my experience. That's disclaimer, because I don't see myself in a position to be giving people advice because I'm still learning. So this is just what I've experienced.
Yeah.
And that was one difficulty which I had to learn. Yeah, but there's more. I could go on, but everyone is gonna have their own experiences. And for example, in the beginning, I was kind of like, me, like, I'm a guy from Africa, different skin color. It's not going to be an issue, for example. So I realized, no, it's not.
No.
It's not. And that kind of surprised me, because I talked to my friend about this. I'm like, hey, so what do you think? Because he has been in business meetings. He's like, bro, that's the worst mindset you can have.
Yeah.
When it comes to
I agree.
business, because like, why should your skin color matter? If you have a good product, if you have a good offer, and it's going to help the company, I don't think they care about skin color. I'm like, you're right, I'll take that.
100.
That was one thing.
But that's also a very interesting point, because especially like in the Black community, I don't include myself to the group, thankfully, but that was mindset work, like intentional mindset work, to not see myself as a victim, because oftentimes it's like kind of out of experience as well. Definitely it's experience based, but also victim mentality. So it's really about your mindset, how you see yourself in certain things. But definitely that's the point.
Look, this could be a whole different topic when it comes to
it could. We shouldn't drift
all I'm saying is all I can say is when we come to this world, right, we all have, I say you always come with playing cards, right? So people have a good hand. A good hand would be, good family, good upbringing, parents love you, got money, whatever. That's it. Those are good cards.
Yeah.
People come with this on this earth where they got one arm missing, for example. They got one leg missing. They still have to make it somehow.
They have to.
So, and I think I got good cards, what I'm saying? And like I said, it's a, for example, if I was in my country, I'm from Ghana, if I was in Ghana, for example, that wouldn't be a question, But here, this is now a topic.
It is.
It doesn't mean, you should look at yourself as less or whatever. It's just the cards you're dealt with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're dealt with this card, so play with it.
Yeah.
It's going to be more difficult for some people. Some people are going to have it easier. Of course, I'm pretty sure sometimes if I go into a meeting, they're like, oh, say it's a Black guy. I didn't realize that. But as long as you can go with respect and also earn your respect, no one cares. So this, victim mentality is, I know it's popular now, but I'm tired of it. That's all I'm going to say.
Me too.
That's what I'm going to say.
And I feel like we should normalize these topics as well, because
I don't like talking about it because, to be honest, like I said earlier on, I like being for myself, and this works for me. But I realized that, a lot of people are, and we have to fight for equal rights, and Black people don't have the same. Look, even if it is true, right? Even if it is true, it means you have to work more. That's it. Then work more. Like I said, someone has one leg. He can get to the bus as fast as you can. Yeah. But he has to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know it's one might say, oh, this is a different thing. No, it's not. It's still, how does reality work for you right now?
That's the thing.
You know what I'm saying? So you take the cards you have, make the best out of it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That's to that topic. But
definitely, because everyone has their advantages and disadvantages.
And I wouldn't call it a disadvantage. It only could be considered a disadvantage if you have someone in front of you who thinks Black people or whatever, But you can have someone who thinks your head is too big. That would be a disadvantage, for example. You know what I'm saying? That's a dumb example, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
People could judge you for everything.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
That's why. No, I mean disadvantage in a way like how you view it.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it's
Yeah, that's true.
perspective.
That's
It's
true.
perspective
Yeah.
for
That's
sure.
true.
But definitely, I'm also on that. I share that opinion with
Oh,
you
that's
for
good.
sure.
Okay.
So let's talk about networking. What strategies have you found most effective for networking and building meaningful connections and not just like superficial?
You mean in like business, in a business sense, or
What we can keep it at business, but just in general networking.
okay? So there's this saying that don't care about what other people think of you. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's gonna sound
Basic but profound.
yeah. It's no. This is be careful. This is my opinion about it. No, you have to care about what other people think about you. I'm gonna tell you why. When people say that, it comes from a place of I want to do what I want to do. I don't care. And that's good. That's good. That works for you. You know what I'm saying? But if I go to a job interview and I have, let's say, give me something raggedy. Let's say I have, I'm wearing, what's the worst thing you could wear?
You could wear
The worst thing. Let's say I'm wearing like a baseball cap to the back. I got my chains on.
you got your grills on.
Exactly. And I am applying to be the CEO of, okay, that's maybe too much. Let's say I don't know, head of marketing for a serious company. You think they're going to take me? So why is that? Because they made a judgment based on my looks.
Yep.
So if I went into that meeting, I'm like, I don't care what other people think about me. But I need that job. You kind of, mess it up yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
True.
you can live that life. I don't care what other people think about me. But then you have to be either rich. Can I swear?
Yes.
You can be rich as fuck. You have to be rich as fuck and not give a shit, right? Or you can, just be. You don't care about anything. You can sleep anywhere. You can, and you're like, I don't care what anybody thinks about me. So, why am I going with this? I would say perception is reality.
Yeah.
I've been living that for I don't know how long. So. It means what you think about yourself. That's good for you. Keep on doing that.
Keep doing you. But
no, but you can't hide from how people perceive you, and that is going to shape how your life goes. Because, like I said, be it a job interview, be it how the cashier at the supermarket greets you, be it your parents, how they perceive you, whatever.
Yeah.
That all influences you.
Yeah.
So going around in the world saying, I don't care what people think about me. I don't think I ever had that view, but I learned that, hey, perception is reality. So I'm not saying be fake and always, try it, but always be aware of how you're projecting yourself. And I think that's where it starts when it comes to networking, because you can't just be walking around having no clue on what you're telling people with your face, your looks. You can't do that. You have to know or have an image of, for example, you see me right now, right?
Yeah.
In your head, you have an image of who Mike is, right? And I think this is, again, not advice or whatever. This is my personal opinion. For me to be able to, for example, sell something to you, I have to kind of know what image you have in your head of me.
That's a good point.
And this is just me.
No, but I see.
So, for example, if I know that you think I'm a trustworthy person because we have conversations and you're like, you're right. You know what? That's cool. Oh, thank you for that, Mike. That's awesome. So I'm building trust with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it means, this is just like run down. So it means the next time, maybe if I want to sell you something, you wouldn't question, why doesn't want to sell this to me? No, Mike helped me the last time. He did it perfectly. You know what? He's saying that's good. I'm gonna buy that from him. So I know the way you perceive me, right?
Yeah.
And that could be used to my advantage. Now, this is where we can go into: is this manipulation?
Depends.
Or not?
Depends.
So, but that's a whole different topic. But what I'm saying is, you can make connections everywhere. You can.
Yeah.
I have made connections, which led to business calls in the train. I was in the train. I'm sitting there, and a lady was sitting in front of me, and she was taking a picture out of the window. She's like, "Sorry, I don't want to disturb you." I'm like, "No, what are you taking a picture of?" So I asked the question. That's what people are afraid to do: ask questions.
Oh yeah.
Why?
Shying away from that.
So because everyone is on the train on your phone, I do that too. I'm not, perfect. I'm on the TikTok. We all do it. So, but this time she took that photo. I'm like, what do you take a photo of? She's like, yeah, this and that, this and that. I'm like, oh, so what do you think that means? And we start talking. So I ask her, what do you do?
That's a very nice question to start.
Yeah. She's like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, she does this and that. Oh, really? So I do this and that. Oh, really? And we're talking. You know what? Hey, let's just change the numbers. Weeks later, we have a call, and so it could be anywhere.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And again, knowing how this is really what helps me not only in the business sense, in life generally, how because my girlfriend will say, for example, everyone likes you. You can be in a room with anyone and you'll be fine. And why is that? I believe that's what she thinks. And why is that? Because I don't want to sound like a bad person, but there's always a way to communicate with people to make them feel understood.
Yeah.
To make them feel safe with you.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And when you know how that works, and this does not work every single time or whatever. This is not. I'm not like a master. No. This is not manipulation. This is just basic human communication, which everyone should understand.
And it's also intuition.
Exactly. And that's where, like, sometimes some people would have an advantage and some people won't, because some people are prone to, see be it signs or quirks. Yeah. And some people don't. Yeah. But you can still learn it, you know. Anything you do, some people have a natural, they're prone to something very naturally. Yeah. And otherwise too, some people don't have it. Yeah. But so where was I? So why I can sit in the room with anybody and have a good time. It's just because, at some point you start to realize patterns on how people behave. Yes. So if I come to you and I say, hey, how you doing? And you get a this is just like basic. Everyone knows this. I'm like, oh, something's wrong. So now most people would be, what's wrong? And that's good. That's a good question, right? And you say, oh, my house was flooded. There's water everywhere. So, oh, that's shit. So I'm sorry for you. Oh, it's okay. So and then that's it. So I would ask you, for example, how did that happen? So, oh, the water came down, blah, 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 this and that. And so, oh, crap. Wait, has this happened before? And did you call it? So we're having a conversation about it. So,
that's a good one. Yeah.
And all I'm trying to say is trying to understand people. It's a lot of work. It's not, and not everyone is made to do it. Not everyone is able to do it because it's a lot of work. Yeah. Also, like learning, like getting to know new people, right? So how does that work? I think a lot of people have an issue with getting to know new people. Yeah. If I say, hey, so what's your name? Say, hey, this and that. And say, hi, my name is. So how did you get here? And we start talking, and then there's an awkward silence. That's what people are scared of. Yeah. Awkward silence is one of the best things you can have. You know why? Because that's how you learn how people react in situations where you're not comfortable. If you know that. Oh, okay. For example, okay, I'm going way too deep into this. No. But if you know that, for example, for example, if we're talking, right, and then there's awkward silence, and I see you looking around and saying, so for example, most people also start, oh shit, what do I do? Blah, 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 this and that. Yeah. For example, a simple thing to do is say the truth, like acknowledge the awkward silence. So, oh, where did the awkward silence come from? And now we're both laughing. You see that? Yeah. So.
But I like that approach as well.
You know what I'm saying? This is just
stating the obvious.
Exactly, because sometimes, like society tells us that, we have to do this, we have to do that. And sometimes we forget what's right in front of us. And this could go into many different things. Yeah. Coming back to networking. So these are things I think generally I would say about myself, like I said, that's how I think people perceive me, as a very, chill person, easy to, you know, talk to and so on. And that kind of helps with thank you.
Yeah.
And that kind of helps with networking. Because when I approach someone, you know how, you know, when some people approach you, they have like a little, like a cold aura around them.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing or whatever,
it's
but
a form of self-protection.
so, and I don't think I give people that vibe, for example. So when the first conversation I have with people is pretty chilled most of the time. And also, like I said, asking the right questions.
Yeah.
So,
That's...
Go on.
You didn't drift off at all. That's what I wanted to say. I like really, everything you said is very, it shows in like how deep it is, like how many facets there are to like connecting with people. Because what you've touched on is not only like networking, but like connecting with people. And I guess that's the key to networking, connecting with people. If you understand like who that person is, like of course you don't know them if it's a random person, but you feel it. We feel energy, you know? And then you're like, okay, if you're more, let's say, in tune with yourself and understand humans, then you can read, for example, oh, maybe they feel uncomfortable, you know, they shift on their feet. And then if you're a comforter, for example, by nature, you know how to, I don't know, for example, say something nice or make them laugh or whatever to like ease them into the conversation. So it's actually really about connecting with people. And for me, that's the key to networking.
Yeah, you're right.
It's really effortless, actually.
Look, like I said, some people are more prone to it or able to, you know, pick it up fast.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of in that category.
Yeah.
And some people need a little bit more. That's why we have stuff, you know, read a book about it. There are lots of books about how to, you know,
you can
connect with people. And also when it comes to like, also it's also sales, you know. If you want to sell something to someone, there has to be some kind of connection which goes into trust.
Yeah.
Because you're basically telling them, give me your money.
Yeah.
That's like a dumb way to run it down.
But in a nutshell,
it is because I mean you're offering them a service which should make sense.
Yeah.
And but basically because they're trusting you with their be it business or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the connection should lead to trust.
Yeah.
And then if we're talking in the business sense, then to be a sale, if we're talking in a, you know, life, whatever, then there will be friendships, there will be relationships and so on. So that's why some people are like, they can make friends really easy.
Yeah.
Really easy. You
Some
know?
are really prone to that. True.
And people are like, yeah, where does this come from? I mean, you're just prone to it. And some people like, if someone reads a book about how to make friends, I don't, because some people be like, yeah, that's weird. I don't see that as weird. I see that as, okay, you've identified a place where you kind of have problems.
Yeah.
And you're, you know, trying to learn about it.
Yeah.
And that makes total sense because at some point, when it comes to humans, we need connections with other people.
Yeah.
We can't function alone. It doesn't
We're
work.
social beings. Yep.
That's what I've learned about myself, for example.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, definitely. So what are, like, there's a book called How to Make Friends. I know that one already. What are your book recommendations when it comes to this topic?
There is one book, and it's actually about sales, but it kind of teaches you how to, or one author, I would say, Marc Wayshak. That's his name. Oh, I love that guy. I follow him everywhere. I'm like a stalker. No, I'm joking.
Okay.
No, but I love because he also has a YouTube channel and everything. And I'm like, that's, I think, where I learned the most. And there are other books like Mastering Yourself. That's from, what was his name again? I will find out.
I'll link them down below in the description box. And
But it comes from different places, you know, be it books, be it you can already do it yourself, or then be it from, you know, seeing friends who are able to, you know, connect with people so fast and like, why can they do that? And
then you're like seeing and trying to imitate them.
But you have to be attentive for that, you know. It has to be
true.
That's what I would say.
But definitely you have to experience it yourself. So like only doing it in theory, reading books, looking YouTube videos won't help. So,
it's a start. It's a start. But of course, at some point you have to, you know, take that leap and do it yourself.
So how much did networking help you in your beginning stages of your startup?
It was almost everything. No, it was. It still is. It's. I don't think you can do anything if you don't network, because you need people, partners, you need clients, you need whatever, and it's all networking. It doesn't stop. And I mean, now it sounds like a chore, like you have to network. No, that's not it. It's going to be something which, if you try to start a business or whatever, it's gonna flow. Well, that's what I think. Again, this is not this is not any business advice. But it's gonna flow, because you're gonna. I mean, if you need clients, you're gonna have to talk to people. If you need partners, you're gonna have to talk to people. And then if you talk to someone for the first time, you're like, oh, don't talk to me. You're gonna ask yourself, why did that person say, oh, don't talk to me? So then you reevaluate that whole conversation, and you're like, okay, maybe before you talk to them, you said shut up. Maybe you shouldn't say shut up the next time. You know what I'm saying? This is just a bad example, but it kind of gets the gist. So it's basically, you talk to different people. Let's say you have calls which fail, sales calls which fail, and you're like, okay, why did that call fail? So what I used to do is I would record my sales calls. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but it's okay. I would record my sales calls, and
you're keeping it to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And I would record my sales and always see what. If something went wrong, where it started, try to see it. Let me put it that way. And also, like I said, I had this one friend. We would talk about it, and it's actually good to have a friend who also does the same thing, because
totally,
it's
you just speak the same language.
Exactly,
it's easier.
And it helps actually, because you can't. Two minds are better than one. But so. We will talk and then see what went wrong and then try to fix it for the next time, and that's how you start getting confidence in what you do.
Yeah.
Because no one, for example, right? I'll give an example. My first sales call.
Yeah.
Man, I was nervous. Oh my goodness. Everything was shaking. I was sweating. I looked like I took a shower. And I forgot to wash it off with a towel. I was sweating, and I'm sure the guy in the meeting was like, "Man, you okay? You need to go to the doctor or some shit." I'm like, "No,
I'm good.
I'm good. It's hot in here, and I didn't pay the bill for coat. I don't know shit." No, jokes aside. And so,
wow,
you try to see where you went wrong, in the sense of, okay, so I was nervous. So why am I nervous? So, and then if you ask yourself that question, you can research on other people's experiences.
Yeah.
When they were nervous, how did they get not rid of it, but how did they approach it? Let's say. Yeah. So, and so it's different things. For example, when it comes to being nervous, you have to acknowledge that you're nervous. Well, that's what I learned. You have to acknowledge that you're nervous.
Yeah.
And see what behavior, so what you do in that situation. For example, some people, like I said, sweat.
Yeah.
Some people fidget with their fingers. Some people stutter. And when that's happening, it's not about fighting it, it's about acknowledging it, and sometimes kind of being at peace with it, I would say.
Definitely.
Because it's not something you'll be able to change in that situation. Because being nervous, you can't just change that. But
you can befriend it.
So.
Yeah.
And that was just an example for being nervous, right? So for me, for example, when I got nervous, what I would tend to do is if I'm sitting on a chair, I would lean forward. So, and I know it happens to a lot of people. So when I lean forward, and I acknowledge, okay, so, okay, you know what? Try leaning back. So I would lean back and put my feet on something to force me to stay back.
Okay.
For example.
Okay, so you position yourself, basically.
Exactly. So because I know I want to tend to lean forward.
Yeah. And what happens when you lean forward? You shake and...
It's just, okay, so... Again, this is just my experience. This
is you being honest and raw.
Exactly.
I like that.
There are different things. For example, if we are having be a sales call or whatever, right? And I realize you're nervous. That's kind of a good thing for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if I tell you, if let's say you're trying to tell me something, right? And it's €5. But I see you're nervous and whatever. What does it tell me? It means you actually need this really bad.
You're desperate or you don't believe in yourself.
Exactly.
Those two.
So if I actually need your product, I want your product, I'm not going to buy for €5. I'm going to buy for maybe 3-2 years. Is what I've learned. I'm not giving business advice out there. This is just what I could say. Because when you're in a business call and the one next to you realizes that you're nervous, that sucks. That's not a good thing.
No.
So it's always, acknowledge it, you're nervous and whatever, and always try to get better. But, try to find things that kind of like calms you down, for example.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? People... people do different things, man. It's crazy out there.
You gave me advice once to, for example, use a pencil or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're fidgeting or that you have something in your hand, and that's actually that's giving people hold,
Exactly. So if you realize you fidget with your hands, you can just what I used to do is I would take my pen, open a book, and just start drawing this and
drawing literally
and okay. And of course, I mean, if the person says something interesting or important, I have to write it down. Then I actually do that. Yeah. But if I start feeling like I have to fidget or whatever, I'll just start. Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, nice one. Okay. And that kind of gives the illusion first that you're just taking down notes.
Which always seems very professional.
Exactly. Man, I don't know if I should be saying this, man. But anyway, go on.
No. I guess none of your clients are watching.
No problem. And so taking down notes and just tries to keeps you calm down, and that's the best thing. Yeah. Also, that's the best state of mind you can be in when you're in such a call.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. I feel like that is so crucial as well to not beat yourself up if you're nervous, because it's not necessarily natural. It's not that you get taught how to be confident, or it's not that you get taught how to sail. Quite the opposite. People try to convince you that selling is bad. For example, my issue with selling is that I feel like I'm pushing something down people's throats. But that's also a mindset thing. And then I realized, because people actually tell me I'm good at selling, but then I was like, my perception, no, I'm not. I don't even like it. But then I understood a thing. I'm good at persuading. Persuading, the difference between selling and persuading is selling. It's very, let's say, very direct. It's very about the end goal, the result to sell something.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm making up this definition in my head. This is how I reason it in my head. But persuading in my head is I know that this person needs it, but they might need the connection, might need the one thing that, the one thought that they currently have in their heads, come out of my mouth for them to say, oh, okay, she can relate, she understands me. And then persuading in a way to make them aware of the fact that they actually need it. They actually want it themselves, and then they get into it. And that's the process of selling, but more persuading. A softer way into this.
To me, persuade kind of sounds a little harsh, I would say.
Really?
Yeah, actually. But I understand what you're saying. What you're saying, because what you're saying makes sense. I think the way you explain persuasion is
softer.
Yeah, exactly. But because persuading is, for me, for example, if a kid wants, let's say, to have 3 scoops of ice cream, and his or her dad is like, no, you're getting 1, and he, try to find a way to get those 3 scoops of ice cream. That's what means you persuaded your dad to get those. So no, but what you're saying is actually right, because sales. I'm not a salesperson, so this is disclaimer here. But sales is identifying what your client's needs are, and of course you can fake having the solution, but having the solution and also successfully telling them what the solution is and how you can help them and so on. if you look at sales from that, like a doctor. So if you go to the doctor, because like you said, something else, like pushing it down your throat. That's what people think salespeople do. But I mean, yeah, some do, maybe.
Some.
But if you go to the doctor doesn't just look at you like, we have this new drug. It will give you a super train thing, blah, blah, blah. No, the doctor says, hey, so why are you here? Yeah, I have pains in my back. Oh, okay. So when did that start? 3 weeks ago. Okay, where exactly does it hurt? So, and that's the same kind of approach sales should take. Identifying where the problems are, where the pain points are. And then seeing if you have, because if you go to a doctor and you came in and the doctor's like, here, take this pill. Would you trust that doctor? No, because he doesn't know what's wrong with you. He just gave you a pill.
I just wanted to say something personal. I don't trust doctors in general, but that's
a whole different topic. It's a whole different topic. No, but so I mean, if they identify where your needs are and so on, and they can give you a solution which actually makes sense. I don't see that salespeople as a bad thing or anything. No. Yeah, I mean, there's always this image of salespeople are manipulative and snaky, and I mean,
it always depends.
Maybe it used to be like that, maybe. But like I said, I think from what I've learned, it's really the approach of trying to help your prospect, and
that's what
help
it should
them
be
make
about.
the right decisions. Basically,
Yeah. But how you described it, I see that in persuading.
Exactly. That's why I said.
But it's interesting because that shows that everyone has a different perspective on it.
Yeah. The language we use could always be different. I could say something which I mean something like way different than if you say. But that's just language.
Yeah,
it happens.
True. Okay, that's interesting. So wait, let me
take your time.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking a lot about skills, and I like that you have this very humble approach of saying I'm not a master at anything. Definitely, you're not, but still, you're mastering certain skills. So let's talk about mastering skills.
Okay.
So how do you approach skill development and continuous learning?
How do I approach skill development and continuous learning? Okay. I mean, why should I learn a skill? Because I need it. So first I have to be in a situation where I needed a skill, but I couldn't use it. So, I mean, let's take...
for example,
let's stay with sales. So, like I said, I'm generally not a salesperson. I'm a musician, but I had to learn to sell my product. And how did I learn it? First I had to identify that there was a problem because I couldn't be clients or whatever. So that's a problem. Now, what's the solution? Sales. You have to know how to talk, sell to people. And where do you start learning? Well, first go to people who do it better than you. And
put that ego aside.
Exactly.
And then learn.
Get advice. Be it, you can read books about it. You can, and again, practicing. So it would be, what I realized was when I was practicing sales calls, what happened was, like I said, I would realize I was nervous, right? And I would practice on my roommate, and I was still nervous. I'm like, why is that? Because I'm not selling you shit, but I'm still nervous. So I realized it's not actually the people who make me nervous. It's the situation that made me nervous, for example. So, and that's actually good to start with because in that case, I could just practice being in that situation so many times that at some point, it didn't matter no more. Exactly. But if it was the people who made me nervous, that would have been an issue, I think. But it was just a situation because I would be talking to my friend and I'm like,
not the stuttering.
And he's like, what the hell is wrong with you? I don't know. So, and then, if you take it from that approach, so it's always, I think what people fail at mostly is identifying where the problem is. So
Yeah. Or like thinking in detail what the problem is. Like
yeah, sure.
just assuming, but assumptions aren't really like
Yeah, true.
final.
True. Yeah, you have to see where you kind of fail at something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, so I realized, okay, I have this problem, be it I'm nervous.
Yeah.
And maybe the second problem is, for example, my offer, right, was shit. I don't know. So if my offer is shit, of course, nothing's going to happen. So
Yeah.
learn how to
Improve
deal with that. No, deal with that. Not improvise,
Oh.
but deal with that. Because,
Okay.
I mean, if you go into a meeting and your offer is shit,
Yeah.
look at your offer again, tweak it again, go to the next meeting. If it works out, perfect. If it doesn't work out, tweak it again. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah. Definitely.
and
Definitely.
so skills. Yeah, so like I said, sales, talking to people. Talking to people was never a huge issue for me. Like I've been saying all the time, it was. Thank goodness, it's pretty easy most of the time.
That's a
Unless
huge one.
I don't know, I'm talking to someone who is like not open at all, and that rarely happens. But at that point, I'm like, I don't need this. So, you know what I'm saying? That you have to know your boundaries too.
That's what I want to say. Boundary.
You have to know your boundaries. So, but
You don't have
like I
to.
said,
You don't have to entertain it in that case.
yeah. But most of the time, people are open. People actually, this is what I think. People actually are waiting to be
approached.
led. Let me put it that way. Led because people are normally not confident in when it comes to conversations and so on. So if I'm able to come to you and then bring in make space or an aura in which we're laughing and having fun, they will follow you.
Yeah.
They will follow you. That is very, and that's when I realized that it doesn't matter what age the person is, for example, where they come from, whatever. It's always people who people tend to follow what feels good.
Yeah.
So if I come to you, we're having a good time and whatever, and then I make a suggestion, the probability of you going with that suggestion is pretty high.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying?
Because the wavelength is already like, it's already
like exactly.
there.
Let's put it like that. So that's one thing I realized too. People at some point it kind of feels like people want to be friends with you. That's how if you have that feeling, then okay, you're able to lead people.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean like lead people in the sense of you're like lead conversations and make people feel good. And, that's also one good thing to know. And so back to
I feel that's also a very interesting thing because people do actually want to be led subconsciously.
I mean,
it's easier. You don't have to do the thinking. You don't have to put yourself in an awkward position. You just follow the person who's already.
Let's be careful though. When I say being led, I don't mean like being like, okay, now we do this, now we do this. No. I'm saying, for example, if we have a conversation and leading the conversation, let me put it that way. So we're having a conversation and then the person is so interested in what you're saying and so on.
But that's my perception of leading as well.
Okay.
I'm not talking about like the harsh leading, but actually leading conversation, but also leading like, do you mind if we grab a coffee? Like,
sure.
That's also form of leading.
True.
Somebody just like putting like the foot forward and kind of giving direction.
Okay. I know, I get that. Yeah, that's true. I mean, and also everyone is different, right? We can't generalize and say people because there's some people. Everyone has every personality, of course. People tend to have be it a stronger personality or I don't want to say weaker, but a more chilled personality. People, introverted, people extroverted, whatever, and of course all those count, But if you're able to make most people feel comfortable and make them feel that they have a good time when talking to you, it goes a long way.
It does.
So skills. What was the question?
I just wanted to read it. How do you approach skill development and continuous learning?
So identify what the problem is and find a skill to compensate for it. And continuous learning, I mean, the reason why I say, I wouldn't call myself a master or anything or whatever, because I'm really not, but I'm always learning. And it's because I always find myself in situations where I'm like, well, shit, I did not see that coming. You know what I'm saying? And so when that happens, you have to find out, okay, what went wrong if it didn't go well. What went wrong, what you can do the next time. Find other people who have the answers to that, learn from them. And that's how you keep on learning, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. I like that one. So do you have any advice for young professionals? If whether they be like in, the sales part or just in general, like young professionals getting into entrepreneurship, and how should they go about it? It's very generic, but try to find like the most significant thing for you in that case.
I mean, I kind of have this thing where giving advice to people, because I don't want to sound like a record playing, but I don't see myself giving advice to people. I always see myself giving my experience, or telling people what I have experienced. So from experience, I would say, I mean, the start is the most difficult thing. That I think we all know that. No matter what you want to do, the start is always going to be, actually start and sticking to it. I think that's where most people fail. How to? I don't think I know of a recipe to combat that, but it always gets back to, why are you doing what you do? So, like I said, I did my stuff because of be it family, whatever. And anytime I feel like okay, I'm not motivated, or I don't want to do this no more, I just think of but you kind of have a reason why you're doing it, so just focus on that reason, and it mostly helps. It
does.
And another thing is, issues are always gonna arise. The more you achieve, the more you experience, the more issues also come, and the issues get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So you should be very adaptable. I think that's one thing which it just helps, because when most of the time when stuff happens, people are like, oh shit, and then I'm done. And it's human to kind of
to experience hardship and failures.
and also just say, I don't want to do this because that's the easiest way out. I know it sounds cliche, but if you're able to adapt to situations, right, that some people have it easy, because for example, my the way I approach it is, if something happens which was not foreseen, or which I couldn't, I didn't see that coming, it's I have a really chilled way of accepting reality. So
that is so good.
Actually, I didn't always have that, actually. I had to learn that. And so if something happens, of course, maybe in the first hour, you could be, oh, fuck. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And then, shit, I try, you know what I'm saying? No, and, but when that happens, so for the first, it's human to complain. It's human to feel sad. It's human to feel angry, whatever. And don't bottle up those emotions.
Let them out.
It doesn't help. But do that for the first, give it an hour or whatever. And then the next thing should be, after you've reacted, is, okay, now what do we do? And I think people forget that part. What do we do? Meaning that, so it happened, it's shit, but what can I do to get myself, be it back on track or better than it used to be? And then that's where you start finding solutions for problems.
That's the learning curve.
Yeah, exactly. So if I would give advice, being adaptable is also huge. Because and one thing too, it's this is a huge thing. Stop looking at what other people are doing or have or whatever. I know, look at what you're doing and take from it. That's good. But stop envying or being why don't I have that? Oh my God.
Resentment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a very negative, but like be jealous or whatever. Look, there's always going to be someone who has it easier than you. Right? There's always going to be someone
Yeah.
who who is more talented than you. So it's always
Yeah.
realize that, hey, I have my pace,
Yeah.
right? So in my pace, I'm able to do this and that and that. If you're able to accelerate your pace, awesome.
Yeah.
But don't feel discouraged because you see someone as, has better results and
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
I think that's also something which
Yep.
has to be learned, actually,
Yeah.
because humans tend to be very jealous creatures.
Oh, yeah.
And it's that's it. Yeah.
That's perfect. Thank you. And I feel like, especially the last point, it has a lot to do with self-love and identity as well. Like knowing who you are and like not comparing. Because this is like a whole, like, this is what I'm passionate about, talking about like this whole like self-discovery topics. Because it's rooted, like, if you have like these negative feelings towards somebody, you would have to find out why. It always has like personal reasons, and that's why. But that's a different topic.
Yeah, no, but the why is really important. The why people do stuff or feel a certain way.
Yeah.
I think if you want to get to a point where you, like I said, like taking a chilled approach to stuff which happens to you, you always have to know the whys. Why you react to a certain thing, what triggers you, what triggers you have. There's a lot you could go on. It doesn't stop anywhere.
Personal work requires a lot of patience. It's a lot of digging.
Yeah, and like I said, I see myself, to be honest, still at the beginning of whatever I'm doing. Not trying to be
because
extra.
You are.
Thank you. No, but not trying to be extra humble on anything, because if I have a scale, right, and I see the people who I admire and the people who I look up to, and I see where I'm at.
Yeah.
And it's not a comparison based on jealousy or resentment, like you would say. It's in comparison on what is possible. Then I would say, man, I'm at the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
The beginning.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I'm very careful in what I say, because I don't want to not even say something wrong, but give the perception that I know better or whatever. No, I can only give the truth of what I have experienced. And
I get that.
Exactly.
I respect that as well. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people are missing, unfortunately. It's very selfless. But also then the question, do you own your advice at the same time?
Like I said, advice, critical word.
Okay. But why though?
Like I said, if I have the scale, right? Let's say you and I want to do the same thing, okay? And maybe you're just starting, right? And we all have the same mentor, let's say. So our mentor is here, we are here. Maybe you are here and I'm here, for example, right? So if you come to me and you're telling me, hey, so what's your advice on this and that to get to here? I'm not the one to tell you advice to get here, because I'm only here. I can give you my experience and this point we have here. Okay, so again, so this is where we want to be, right? This is where our mentors are, like the people we admire, whatever, right? So you're starting, so you're here, right? It's just an example.
Yeah.
And then I'm here, right? So if you come to me saying you want advice to be here, I can't give you that, because I'm not there.
No, true.
And that's most of the time, that's the advice people want. But if you ask me about stuff which happened here between you and me, I can give you my reality and my experience on that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm careful in what I say.
I completely understand.
You know what I'm saying?
And you're right.
Because sometimes you ask people who obviously don't know the answer, and then they say a bunch of bullshit. I mean, you didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
So that's why I said I can only give you advice or experience on what I have experienced.
Yeah.
And I think that's the honest thing to do because I'm learning. I also want to get there.
Yeah.
You know, so what happens is if you get like close to where I'm at and then we start like, okay, learning from each other and stuff like that. That's also a fun thing to do, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being with people who are doing the same thing as you,
Or in the
learning
similar
together.
path, yeah.
It's also good to know people who are further along the line.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, so you can get information, get their experience, always, you know, push it further to where you want to go.
No, I get that. Yeah. As I said, that's very selfless because others really put themselves on a pedestal and then try to preach from that, but they're not there as well. But I always like say, sometimes we do have certain wisdom, and that's why I'm like, you can own that.
Yes, I see what you mean. It's
although you're not the master or wherever you want to go.
Take it like this, right? How many phrases or sayings are out there, you know?
Oh, yeah.
There are lots of wise words and
true
sayings and be yourself and don't care about what other people think about you and so on, you know? And some of them contradict each other, for example, right? I think sayings are there to give you what you need in that moment, right? Yeah. So where am I going with this? In a sense, of course, words of wisdom and so on. Sure, it's good. But if I say something and in this moment, it doesn't mean shit to you, it doesn't, you know? Yeah. But if I say something and for someone, you know, it's like, this is the exact thing I had to hear at this moment, that's what counts.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? So, when I say something, I own it because that's what I've experienced. That's what worked. That's what didn't work.
Okay.
And if someone hears it, someone can hear it and be like, this guy's talking bullshit. I can be like, yeah, for you it's bullshit, sure. And the next person could hear it and be like, oh, well, shit, okay.
That's gold. I needed that.
Where are we going? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
It's always different. Look, there are no answers to anything. Yeah. That's the thing. It's always trying to, you know, figure out what works for you.
True.
And I think once you have that mindset, you're really adaptable.
Oh yeah.
Back to that topic.
Adaptable. I like that word. Well, that was so good. That was very, very good and very like knowledgeable in general. Do you have any final tips, like what you want to give out to the audience? Something from your heart.
Life is shit most of the time. Just make the best out of it. You know what I'm saying? Just try to. No, it's true. Yeah. I mean, we all focused a lot on, you know, be it work, be it, you know, business, be it whatever. And that's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, try to enjoy life too.
Oh, yeah.
And I think sometimes we forget to do that. I forget to do that a lot of times, you know. I tend to work a lot and not sometimes have fun or and so that's also maybe wisdom to myself, basically. Just try to enjoy life, you know. And one thing, again, perception is reality. That thing has carried me so much. Look, stop that. I don't care what people think about me and blah. It sounds good when you say it.
It sounds like you're confident, but actually,
you know what I'm saying. But you should care to some extent.
Yeah.
About what people think, because you can't make every decision in your life about yourself, and you can't. People are going to make decisions for you, if they have a bad perception of you, it might not go in your favor. I'm not saying you should be kiss ass to people, you know, suck it up. You should still have respect for yourself, but you should also know or learn to approach people with respect, that they also
100.
approach you with respect.
100.
You know, and I think that would be it. That's something I think I would live my life on for forever, because it just makes sense to notice how people you can't be in this world and be oblivious to what people think about you. It doesn't work like that.
Doesn't at all. Well, drop the mic. Mike drops the mic.
That I've heard that joke so many times.
Really? Oh, wow.
No, it's
And
okay. You tried.
I thought I'm original, but now I feel ashamed.
Really? I do music. I sing. How many?
Okay, this is like the third time we met, so please.
No, it's okay. Don't stress it. Don't stress it.
Okay, anyways, so let's just ignore that. But thank you so much for being guest on this podcast
Hey,
here.
happy to be here. It was fun. I actually have fun.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Like I said, have more fun in life.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. If you want to connect with him, links are in the description box. So thank you so much.
No problem.
And hopefully see you soon again.
All right, no problem.
Oh, man. Great job. So many golden nuggets.
That was so good.
Golden nuggets. Oh, goodness gracious.
There were so many times where I was like, yes, I hear you.
Preach, yeah.
Preach. Hallelujah. I was like, oh.